Okay, so today's episode is all about high tech, high touch.
We're talking newsletters, text messages, phone calls, and handwritten notes.
None of it's hard, all of it's a little tiny bit of work.
It's fun.
Let's get into it. Well, hello and welcome to Real Estate Referrals, network to net worth.
Attaboy.
Attaboy. This is a podcast for real estate agents across the country who are looking to build a profitable referral network to expand their businesses nationwide. I'm Kelly Heldreth.
And I'm Kilene Shelley, and we are the KKG, the fastest growing real estate team in Florida.
Whoa. Should we say the U.S.?
I mean, I wanted to say worldwide, but I just don't.
Maybe we just stay baby steps. We'll stay in Florida.
That's right, for right now.
Okay, good. How's it going?
Great. How are you, Kelly? You've had a hard week.
I have. I feel like I'm stuck kind of between fine and miserable.
Oh.
Because I hurt my back. It goes in, goes out. But for right now, I feel fine.
Well, good. I feel like a lot of people live in that realm.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. So, hey, what do you want to cover today?
Well, we're going to be talking about, we've made these phone calls. We're starting to build these relationships. What system do we put into place to continue that conversation going?
Right, because we've already made the phone call. You've already sparked a relationship. So what's the next step?
Well, first of all, I want to brag on you a little bit because this last week you had a client that has become pretty much like family to you. You answered your phone one day. They had called like 5 other realtors. Nobody had answered their phone, and they finally got you. And you've built this relationship over the last 4 years. And the house that you told them would probably be too big for them in Tampa is too big for them in Tampa.
It was a too big, and they have stairs, and they're elderly.
Yeah. So they called you and they said, "Hey Kelly, we're going to be moving to Georgia."
Yes.
This is this like remote little town.
Right. So they wanted to move right over the border from Florida into Tifton, Georgia.
Right.
I immediately called you, our knower of all things when it comes to referral partners. I said, "Who do we have in Tifton, Georgia?"
And I said, "Nobody."
You said nobody. I said, "Okay." I have a friend of mine, Jill Heineck from the Heineck Group, who is a KW agent in Atlanta. And I reached out to Jill and I said, "Jill, who do I need to know in Tifton?"
And she gave you a name.
Perfect name.
But you started Kilene.
As I do.
You immediately went to Google, and I was like, "Kelly,
Just call her.
just call her."
Right.
Now, this would have probably been a better phone call for me because you're from the Northeast and she's from the South. And so your love languages are just a little bit off.
Right. I had a bunch of stuff on my plate too that day.
You did.
So my brain was going fast. My mouth was wanting to go fast. And she's a good old girl from Tifton, Georgia.
She wanted to tell you about Sally Joe's dinner.
Yeah, exactly. She was in some new biscuit recipe. And you know, a couple of times I felt like it was killing me. But turns out
Sweet as pie.
She's so super sweet.
Yeah.
And it turns out that once we connected them, they know some of the same people.
It's a small world.
Small world, perfect referrals. But this is exactly how referrals are supposed to work.
Yep. But you called her, you built that relationship, and now she's part of our sphere. So now the question becomes, how do we keep up with these people that we've already had an initial conversation with to stay top of mind?
Right. We want to stay in front of them. So you have developed, for our referral network, you've developed a newsletter.
Yeah. So we do a newsletter already for our sphere of influence. We feel like newsletters at least keep you top of mind. It's another touch that you can have.
If they're good.
If they're done correctly.
If they're done correctly. So there's like some people send out garbage. Like nobody cares that.
Well, some agents, we get these newsletters and they're like giving us all their just listed, just solds. And we're like,
it doesn't matter.
For an agent, it doesn't matter to us because we're like, okay, great. You sold. You should be selling houses. And
Yeah,
I have no idea what that means because I'm not in your area. Now, to our sphere, it's great. Like you should be doing just listed, just sold. But when you're sending a newsletter to another agent, it's got to be a little bit different. It has to have some items of value. So,
Right.
Kelly, if I was sending you this newsletter, what items of value would interest you the most?
So for me, scripting. I love scripting. So scripts that work in your where you're from. Scripts that you guys use for you, where you're from, would be interesting to me.
Yeah. Well, especially because we're in a really unique time of the market. Interest rates are up. We're going through this NAR settlement. Like there's a lot of opportunities to have really in-depth conversations. And you're awesome at saying it's way better to have conversations that you've already had.
Right. We've practiced it. We hit you with a bunch of different scenarios that could happen. So for our agents, by the time they have that conversation, they've had it 10 times with me.
Yeah.
They've had it 5 times with you.
Yeah.
Like they've already had it and they're totally prepared, which brings their confidence levels way up. That's why I really love the scripting part of it.
So a script would be awesome.
A script, provide me with a script from where you're at that works in your market. And I might pull one little line from it that might help me. I would love that.
Yeah.
What about for you?
Just some tools are always great. So when I call both our Sphere and our referral partners, I utilize a system called DTD2, which means dial the database 2. And it splits it up to where you're not calling everybody in your database all at once. You're calling about 10% per week. So it gives you letters of the alphabet to call. So instead of calling 200 people, I call 20. And it's just really nice to have.
Instead of eating the entire elephant in one sitting, because that's what we all get in our heads, like, oh my God, I have to call everybody right away. This just breaks it down into bite-sized bits.
Yep.
I hear you going through it. You never sound stressed. You don't ever sound like you're working too hard. And it's just, you're very methodical about it.
Yeah.
But that's the tool you're using.
Yeah, and it helps me kind of keep track of everybody, make sure I'm touching everybody on a quarterly basis. And then the beauty of it is every 13 weeks it resets, and then I start back over again.
Take it right from the top.
Yeah, so something like that would be a great tool to add into a newsletter.
Maybe, why don't we add that to our show notes? Because maybe people may not understand what we're talking about, but it's a simple download, and just start using the tool.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a good tool.
Awesome.
Another thing that we really like to add is, so when we partnered up, I kept going with holidays. I'm a big holiday girl. I started real estate when my babies were little. And
I quit all holidays.
You hate all holidays.
No.
You don't. But I would celebrate everything, like Groundhog's Day, Valentine's Day, all of it. So we do a lot of social media marketing around just random holidays.
Fun rando stuff.
Yeah.
Like today, Catherine came in, one of our agents came in, and she was wearing 2 different shoes.
And I was like, there's a national
You're
day
like,
for
there's
that.
there's a holiday for that. Don't worry.
There is. So I think providing something like a social media post that they could just download and put up on their social media, like something that could save them a little bit of time, would be great, and just allow them to have a little bit of fun with it.
Yeah,
I think it's always great things.
Absolutely. Facts about the cities.
Oh my God, this is huge, especially with us here in Tampa. Like, we have such a fun city. It's a destination city. It would be super fun. The question becomes, what if I live in Topeka, Kansas?
Right. Well, home of the tornado?
I mean, maybe.
I'm sure in Topeka, Kansas, I bet that they have like an amazing library or amazing horse farms. It's Kentucky, for goodness sakes.
Wax ball.
Yes, the world's largest ball of wax is there in Kentucky. Somebody's going to connect with the ball of wax.
I mean, I would.
We've all seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure. They saw some really cool stuff in that movie.
Unless you travel with my husband, who doesn't like to make pit stops along the way, I think balls of wax are super entertaining.
Well, I'm with Rob. Either we get in and we get out of the car, and that's it.
Yeah.
One time. So to get those facts, those fun facts, you utilize Canva.
I do. So the 2 tools that I would utilize when putting together my newsletter, if I was just getting started, like obviously now we have marketing girls that do it, and they use all kinds of.
We have lots of help, which is nice.
We have lots of help, which is nice. But if I was a single agent just getting started on this and I really wanted to hit the ground running, the 2 that I would really focus on would be Canva and BombBomb. BombBomb is a video platform, but it has so much more that it can do. And we do really all of our email newsletters go through BombBomb. So I would start there. Canva is great for putting together just small little things that you can share with people. And I think it's super easy. And I mean, I'm 44 and I can do it. So basically anyone can do it.
Yeah, and you make them very personal to you. You make them fun, easy to remember. And again, we always want to stay top of mind. That's the whole point.
Well, I want people to open them, read them, and find value in them and look forward to the next one that's coming. So newsletters are great. Easy to get started. Don't get overwhelmed. Even if you just do 1 a quarter, it's better than nothing.
Right.
So.
And remember, guys, a newsletter, it's not a big thing.
No.
Go to Canva, create a 1-sheet newsletter. That's all you need.
Pop it in an email and shoot it out.
Yep, send it out. So, okay, so we've taken care of that. We've made the initial phone call. We got the relationship started. We're sending them the newsletter. We're staying top of mind. What do you do next?
So the next action item that I do, so along with my quarterly phone calls, I'm also sending them a text every quarter. This text message is very, very basic. am not writing a book. I'm not asking for a response all the time, but I am sending out a text message just again to stay top of mind. So the last one I just sent out had a video of some, I'm going to say this incorrectly, waves flapping onto the shore.
Waves don't flap on the shore, Eileen. They murmur. No,
Murmur.
no, they don't murmur.
I don't know. Well, whatever. Just waves crashing onto the shore.
Okay, we'll go
We
with
got
crashing.
there. We got there. And it just said, are your buyers looking for a change of scenery? And at the bottom had our contact information. It was that along with just a very small text that said, hey, Kelly, your referral partners from Tampa Bay here. Think of us if your sellers or buyers are thinking about moving to the Florida area. And that was it.
Okay, so you bulk them all together and you send 400 of them in one shot, right?
No, they're all individually done.
Personalized.
Personalized.
So you, like you said, hey, Kelly, so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. But how long do you spend on each text? Is it like 2 minutes or is it like 30 seconds?
I mean, each text takes about 30 seconds. I'm sending out the same video, but I am typing every single one up separately. If there's something personal that I know about them, I might include it. But for the most part, that quarterly text is the same text. It's just personalized to each person.
Okay.
And it just takes, nothing's hard. It just takes time.
And I think that personalization, that little detail that you may have pulled from the conversation, of course, you've got your notes, you drop that in the text and they'll be like, wow, this chick's really paying attention. Like, I feel like she kind of knows me.
Well, what makes text so awesome is that I know they get it. So I think you pulled a stat about this.
I did. It's a crazy stat. So if you send it via email, you have a 22% chance that it might get opened.
Which I still think is high.
I feel like it's really high too, but
Whatevs.
Google, thanks Google. So they're saying 22% for a email, but they're saying 98% open rate on a text message, which is crazy.
I mean, what happens to the other 2%? Did they just leave it unread?
I guess so.
Do they ghost you?
I don't know. It drives me crazy when I'm like, I have 15 and I'm like scrolling through looking for them.
You are bad about that.
Yeah, bad about it. But look, admittedly, I'm terrible at email. I suck at it. I admit it. But I'm really good with text. So if you ever want to get my attention, text me. And I think I'm like a lot of people. It's immediate. It's in your hands. You're moving. You're shaking. You can deal with it right then and there and move on.
Well, we drive Rob crazy because I think we each have like 1 million emails that are in our
50,000.
inbox.
Yeah,
and
Rob's
he has
probably
like 2.
I was thinking like 3.
Oh, okay.
He's been busy, so they probably built up today.
Yeah, you're probably right. Another really great thing to do with text messaging is also going to be hitting on special occasions. So in my initial phone call, I'm trying to gather as much information as I can. I'm liking their personal Facebook. I'm liking their business Facebook. And a lot of times I can figure out when their birthday is, maybe when some other special occasions are. And then as I'm going through my Facebook every day, which for me is part of my prospecting, I'm not on there to just mindlessly scroll. I'm looking for different life events that I can send cards or send text messages about. I'm also doing that with our referral partners. So if they had a really great closing, I might comment on their Facebook, but I might also send them a text. If I know it's their birthday, I might just send them a text and say, hey, happy birthday. If they had a baby or some big life event, I might wish them congratulations.
Such a good idea. You've already reached out. You've already connected with their socials and you pay attention. Again, that tells people like, wow, this chick's paying attention. Like she wants to know who I am. She's congratulating me on a big win. That's huge. I think it goes a long way for a baby relationship.
Absolutely. Well, because that's really what it is, right? So I'm not making an initial phone call and then expecting them to send me business. That's not how it works. Like it takes time, just like it would someone that I meet at an open house or somebody that I cold call. I have to continually stay in contact with them, stay top of mind, let them get to know me. I want to get to know them. Like there's a relationship that's being built here.
Right.
I want to know that I like them. I want to know that they like me. I had a really bad phone call last week.
I was just going to ask you, what do you do if you talk to somebody that you don't like immediately?
Well, I immediately hung up the phone and I was like, well, you're a dick. And then I deleted him from everything.
Yeah. Can you even remember his first name? Nope.
Dick McDickface.
Goodbye, Dicko.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't deserve you, Kilene.
Thank you, Kelly.
Okay. So yeah, we only want to really, it's our referral network.
Yeah.
It's your referral network. Work with who you want.
And if you're treating me like that on the phone, I can only imagine how you're going to be treating my clients.
So it's a big no-no.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Big no-no.
If I get a text message back and they're like, new phone, who dis? I mean.
Have I failed at that point?
I know. I'm like, oh, wow.
Right. Okay. So we've got lots of different modes of of communication. We know that we need to weed people out because not everybody is our person.
Yeah.
So it's easy to do. If you send a bunch of text messages and nobody responds, do you care?
No, because I can see that they've gotten them.
Right.
So I don't, none of them, unless I have an actionable item on it, I don't expect a response back.
Okay, good. So you don't sweat that at all. Just send the text, get it done, and then move on with your day, right?
Move on with my day.
Okay, perfect. I love it.
Yes. So it all leads back, though, to the quarterly contact. It's all building up to all of this stuff is secondary. If I don't have time to do anything else, I'm going to do my phone calls. That's
Right.
the number one most important thing out of all of this.
Absolutely.
So every quarter, I dial them. I get a hold of them.
You smile them, you dial them.
Smile and dial them. The first conversation is super easy, especially right now.
So what is that, real quick, what does that conversation sound like?
So right now, I'm saying, hey, Kelly, this is Kilene Shelley. I'm calling from Tampa, Florida. Just wanted to give you a call because in 2024, I made it my mission to reach out and connect with every single one of our referral partners. So congratulations, you're going to get to talk to me on a quarterly basis.
And I've heard you say that a bunch of times, and people almost always laugh.
They laugh.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then they get removed from the list. No.
That's right. So if you get a call from Kilene, you better laugh.
You better laugh. But it kind of like just breaks the ice. And then I just stop and I ask them, how are you doing? Again, we're dealing with a lot in our industry right now, and people just sometimes want to talk and get it off their chest. So I let them just talk and get it off their chest. 99% of the time, they're like, we're not worried. This is great. This is what the industry needs. And then we can have a conversation around that. Sometimes I'll ask them about their team. Sometimes I'll ask them if they're an independent agent, how business has been. It's amazing the information that you can get. I let them know that I'm going to be liking their Facebook, and I would hope in return that they would do the same for me. I let them know that I'm going to be reaching out on a quarterly basis. So save my number. Be on the lookout for my next phone call.
Yep. You keep it very...
Don't ghost me.
Yeah, don't ghost me. You keep it very light, very
Yeah.
easy. You're very cognizant when you're talking to them. If they sound like they want to bounce off the phone, you're like, no problem. Sounds like you're busy.
Yep.
And you don't judge them unless they're being jerks. And
Then they get booted.
then we rip the shirt and we never talk to them again.
That's a Kelly term. Rip the shirt at you and never talk to you again.
And we're done. Okay.
No, but it's good to have those conversations. Then they get easier from that point on because I've already made notes, right? Like the initial phone call, I might, like one girl told me about her cat that projectile vomits. So now I'm going to be bringing that up. Like, how's your cat doing? You know,
Right.
Some people were telling me about kids that had tests or life events that they were going through. One lady told me about some issues that she was having with her mom. So these are all things that I'm making notes and I'm keeping those in our database so that when I go to make those phone calls or those text messages or send another card, I'm going to have that information
Right.
there. Or if I see something pop up on Facebook or Instagram, I have a backstory that I can refer back to.
There's always a way to find something to talk about.
Absolutely.
It's not hard. It just takes a little bit of effort.
We're all hungry for connection, Kelly.
That's right. That's right. We talked about rushing it before.
Yeah.
So I'm very guilty of this when it comes to text messages. I don't even really type them. I talk to text them.
Well, let's talk about your big oopsie that you had.
Well, I did have a big oopsie. I don't even remember what I said to her, but it came out.
Well, you said, got it, thanks.
Oh, I said, got it. That's right. We were actually standing in this office.
Yeah. And it came out, got it, bitch.
Yes. And then I was like fumbling my phone. I was like, trying to say, no, that's not what I meant. And I called her. Remember, I called her twice. She didn't answer.
You were freaking out.
I was freaking out. Absolutely. I thought I was so offensive.
But
And
know that this all takes time. Like even
Right.
we get so busy that we make mistakes like that.
Yeah.
And like this all takes time. So
The point is don't rush it.
do
for
not
sure.
rush it.
Yeah.
My initial conversations, I set aside about 10 to 15 minutes per contact because between the phone call and then I'm going to write a personal note and I'm going to address that note. I'm going to make notes into my database and I'm going to make sure that I have all their social media up to date. Like you have to give yourself time for that.
Right. It takes time. It's work. And 98% of the agents aren't going to do it at a level that you do it.
That's what makes it powerful.
This is what makes you a fantastic agent. You focus on it, you block your time to do it, and you move through the system, you don't let anything hang you up, and you keep going on to the next, and then you get on to all the other problems that we deal with day to day.
It's just it's just time blocking.
It's time blocking.
Really what it is.
Yep. You got to really be cognizant of your time.
Absolutely. Well, I think the big takeaway is if you're not going to do anything else, do the quarterly
The
phone
one
calls
thing. Yeah, the phone call is it, man.
and the notes.
Yep.
But if you can layer in a text message every quarter is great. Text message for their birthday is awesome. The newsletter's fantastic.
Don't be afraid of Canva.
Don't be afraid of Canva.
Right.
Even this old dog can do it. You can do it.
All right. So again, today we're talking about high tech and high touch.
Yep.
So when we're talking high tech would be, I guess, text messages.
Sure.
High touch would be phone calls.
Yep.
Stay on top of it, do the consistent work, and you're going to build out a big, fat, payable network.
Absolutely.
Mailbox money.
More of it.
More mailbox money.
All right, Kelly, till the next time. Great job.
Hey, you're kind of good at podcasting.
We should do another one of these.
I didn't really say podcast. I said something weirder there.
It's okay. High five.
I meant to say podcasting. Thanks, Guy.
Bye, guys.
Bye.